listening to Drive. It's 5:24 on 720 ABC, Perth. Batters at Woolf. And
great choice, Fred.
Yeah, Fred Chaney has selected that music. Kev Carmody, Paul Kelly from Little Things, Big Things Grow. It tells a great story, doesn't it?
It does tell a great story. And I was only asked this afternoon to nominate a song, and that song popped out because I've had a fantastic week of really good things and seeing great things happening. And they've all come from small beginnings, and it's just wonderful to see.
Can you share some of it with us?
Yeah, well, I mean, I had an extraordinary visit to Mandurah just a couple of nights ago, and I was asked to go down to help launch a reconciliation action plan by a property developer, do you mind? Yeah. So I went down, and I must say I went down a bit begrudging the 4 hours that it meant, travel down, travel back there. It was just the most wonderful night, because what you had was a whole room full of Noongars from Pinjarra and Mandurah, the mayor of Mandurah, the property developers, and they just talked about this development in terms of how they were doing it together. And the personal friendships that had developed. In the end, the daughter of the developer sang a song with an Aboriginal accompaniment. The Aboriginal guy sang a song. There was a fantastic sense of unity of purpose. And instead of land development being an insult and a problem, this land developer was saying, oh, it's terrific, we've got some sites on the land and they'll be a really important part of the way we develop the land. Now, I mean, to be frank, I was pretty close to crying because I said, this is Australia as I want it to be. And what you're showing is that's Australia as it can be. And, the mayor made the most wonderful speech and said, we're working on the same stuff, and said, will you come down and work on this with us? Now, this is happening all around the country, actually, and I've seen so much of it this week that while there's still a lot of really bad news around, there's a lot of very good news. And I must say, from little things, big things do grow.
So, Fred, is 2010 definitely better than 2009?
Oh, yeah. It's getting better year by year because, I mean, if you go back longer than 2009, I must say to be trying to do something about the Aboriginal situation was a pretty unpopular field of work. But now, the 11 biggest companies in Australia have got reconciliation action plans. Mm. I mean, when Reconciliation Australia's board comes to Perth in a few weeks, West Farmers, the biggest employer in Australia, will host the reception. This is the way things are moving forward. And, the people that used to be my strongest opponents, I have to say, in the mining industry was that group, are now the best people to work with. So I see a real sea change, and it's because government's not being left to do the job. Australian people are doing the job, and that's fantastic.
Not unrelated, I'm sure, Fred. What's your most proudest moment?
Look, I think that's an impossible question. I suppose the birth of my 3 children how could I differentiate? Yeah. I mean, the first is an amazing thing, but each of them is an amazing thing. I think Angela and I would both say they've been great moments. But how can I say that last Thursday in Mandurah wasn't my happiest moment? I mean, I'd have to say my life has had a lot of really wonderful times. And I can't grade them, but what I have learned in life is enjoy the good bits and enjoy the moments of success, other people's success I'm talking about here, and then the really unbearable bad things are made bearable because you know that it doesn't have to be bad, it can be made good. So I'd say that this week I've had some moments that I would be hard-pressed to say weren't as good as any moment in my life, but I think the kids have been around longer and more important to me.